Hello all my alloys out there, I'm Fixing Alloy 1 here. Welcome to our next movie review. We're doing Independence Day Resurgence today. Yay! Now this movie, like when I first heard it was announced, like really brought up a lot of nostalgia because I watched the original Independence Day when it first came out 20 years ago. So I was 9 years old. Oh, well actually I was 8 years old because it came into theaters last year. So I was 8 years old when it first came out and I fucking loved Independence Day. It was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I watched it over and over again. It was like the first movie I could ever just like quote like right offhand and shit. So to find out they were making a sequel was awesome, especially because, I mean, 20 years in between sequels is pretty fucking far-fetched. You don't hear about that a lot. But they played it off well, I thought. The fact that they made it so it was actually 20 years from sequel to the movie to the sequel was pretty good. You got to see, I mean, they did a lot of like, you could tell that they used what they had from the ships to their advantage. Now, there were some inconsistencies. But, of course, the basic premise of the movies was 20 years after the first attack, and the aliens are back, and they brought a bigger ship, and they've got a bigger queen, and blah, 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 blah. Now, the movie itself was pretty good. I enjoyed the movie itself on a whole, but there was just, this is like the first time I watched a movie for movie review. I was like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. Now, first of all, in the beginning of the movie, they find out that the aliens are coming back because of a ship that was left behind. Now, it was the only ship, apparently, that landed in the invasion. That was, first of all, number inconsistency. First, why in the original movie were we not concerned about the one ship that fucking touched down and started drilling into our surface? Why were we not worried about that? Yeah, I understand we got fucking giant ships in the air blowing up all these cities and shit, but if they're just going to take our core and just completely kill us anyway, what was the point of all of that? Now, on the one hand, I'm thinking, well, because it was a smaller ship, and they even said at one point in the movie, maybe there was a smaller queen on the motherboard, and we killed the mothership, and we killed it without even realizing it. Okay. You could say that they didn't see that humanity would be as much of a threat as other species, and they sent a smaller group of ships out. Maybe. But they didn't have a bunch of ships destroying cities in this one. They only focused their attack where they had their mothership at, and they were worrying about drilling. They didn't fucking send anyone else out to attack anything until a specific point in the movie, and we'll get into that in a second. So on that hand, I was like, if they didn't take us as a threat, why'd they attack us more the first time than the second time? So I was a little bit, like, kind of like grinding my nerd gears that there was a ship that landed and we knew nothing about it till this movie. Although it did do well for the story, it got to set up for the fact that there was a group of guerrilla warriors who didn't join the new united governments of the world, who pretty much had a land war with these aliens for like 10 plus years and managed to kill them all with weapons like machetes and shit. That's pretty badass. That's a movie I wish we got to see. That, if they're going to keep doing the Independence Day franchise, which I don't know if they're going to have the third sequel like they wanted, just because it didn't seem to do so well in box office, and you have to make money to make sequels that I didn't really check yet. I meant to check before I started this vlog on whether or not they made enough for a sequel, but they definitely set themselves up for a sequel, so hopefully they get their sequel, because I kind of want to see the story finished now. But if they are going to keep going with Independence Day movies, it'd be nice to see like a spin-off movie of what happened in between the two attacks. What did these guys have to fucking do to survive? Because they had all sorts of little alien skulls displayed everywhere, and they had raided the aliens' weaponry. So that was something. Because obviously the aliens had guns. Remember at the end of the first one, they were talking about, oh, they're getting ready for a land invasion. But once again, that comes to the fact is, why the fuck didn't they do any of that shit in the second movie if they knew how much bigger of a threat we were now? Yeah, they came back with better fucking ships and better fucking weapons, but then they get into the little alien ships that they hijacked in the mothership. They're like, nothing in their technology has changed in 20 years. Okay. So you had to waste resources the first time just attacking us with a bunch of fucking ships when you could have came in once, one giant fucking ship, and took us out no problem. So there was that. But in the movie, a giant ball thing, I didn't really feel like it got explained enough. We will call it the Apple Pokeball. Because that's what it looked like. If Pokemon were real and Apple made Pokeballs, that's what that fucking thing would have been. But that's how it all started. This Apple Pokeball thing came to the moon, and we had a defense structure there, so we shot it. And then we had to go and get this little tiny ball thing that was inside the big ball thing, and it's just balls and balls, I know. Inconsistent. But, anyway. So they got the little ball thing, and that's when the little alien ball thing was talking about how they were an advanced civilization, thousands more years advanced than us. They've given up their physical forms for a virtual form. That makes sense in a way. I guess I could see that happening. We're already experimenting with virtual reality. It would extend life indefinitely because you don't have to worry about your body dying. You just have to worry about updates. Can you imagine what it'd be like updating if your body had to update like your computer? There's like 4.5, 5 hours that you can't fucking do anything. You're just standing still. What happens if you have to update at work? Would you get fired for that shit? That's a good question. We'll have to dive into that in another video. Maybe like really get into that shit, nerd out on it. But anyway, long story short, Apple Pokeball was telling them that their civilization was thousands of years more advanced, and they were the only civilization that ever really stood a chance against them. They actually repelled their attacks for a while, but then in the end they lost. There was only one surviving Apple Pokeball left, and it was working on gathering up civilizations that deemed fit and worthy to come to a refugee planet and train with their weapons, which is more advanced than the aliens that attacked us weapons, which is another thing I got griped on. When the fuck do we get a name for these goddamn aliens? Can we, you know what? At this point now, we're going to name them squid monsters. They are squid monsters. They are not the Greys, even though they were made off in the first movie to be the Greys that crashed in Roswell and shit, the Grey aliens everyone says they see. First of all, they're fucking purple. Purple. We can't mistake them for Grey aliens, so that's not going to fucking work. They're purples. So we're going to call them squid monsters for the rest of this video. So anyway, the Apple Pokeball was recruiting people to come and train with their weapons, which was more advanced than the Squid Monsters' weapons, in an attempt to take the fight to their homeworld, take the fight to them in space, and end this threat to the universe once and for all, because that's what they do. They go to planet, steal the molten core, and use it to power their ships and advance their technology. Which kind of also went against the first movie, because in the first movie they said they wanted our resources. Last time I checked, your fucking molten core isn't a resource, it's part of your planet. When they said resources, I was thinking shit like gold and fucking shit like that. Platinum, expensive fucking metals. But the movie was good. So, well, it turns out that the aliens knew there was only one Pokeball left and they've been looking for it. So this thing was like in sleep mode until they activated it. And as soon as they activated it, like the main queen of the ship was like, oh fuck, there's the Apple Pokeball. And that alien did look badass. I was very pleased with how they make the squid monster look, because it was a scary squid monster. And then they got into a suit and it looked just like all the other squid monsters. But still, without the suit, it was like a more advanced squid monster. So you could definitely see a difference in it and the little working grunt guys. So they lured out Alien Queen Mommy, and they attacked her. They managed to blow up her ship using our shields that we created from our technology to contain a cold fusion bomb explosion to destroy her ship, and it worked. Now this time President Whitmore was the one who did the suicide mission, so I was like, that's I could see that happening. That would definitely be the way it goes. But afterwards, they're like, oh my god, the Alien Queen has her own shield. So they're trying to take her down, and they're shooting at her, and this is like the next time, this is like the second time I was like, what the fuck? It does not work like that. It never worked like that. They shot the bitch enough to destroy her shields. Like it was an RPG, and your enemy has a fucking shield, and you have to attack it enough to destroy the shield damage, and then you can start attacking. No. We launched nuclear fucking bombs at them in the first movie, and we barely dented their shields. Why is it all of a sudden we can shoot them with the green shit that they shoot us with and destroy their shields? That's not how it should work, especially if there's other times that they went and attacked planets and were able to get taken down. They should phase their shields to the point where they can't just be shot enough times and make a little hole. So I did not agree with that. Which led to a third thing in the movie that just like really pissed me off. Apparently after they killed the Alien Queen, the main mothership would leave on its own and go back to the main group of their squid monsters, wherever their battalion was. They were called harvester ships. The harvester ship would return to the other squid monsters wherever they were hiding at to regroup on its own without a queen. But that lets the inconsistency of why didn't the first harvester ship go back to space after we killed that queen that we knew nothing of. Inconsistencies, like I said, not enough to make the movie bad. I thought the movie was good. Now the guy they had playing Will Smith's kid from the first movie, that guy can't fucking act. Like, oh, when you're trying to prep a fucking group of fucking squadron fighters for a fight that's gonna save humanity or doom it, you don't sit there, we're all going to converge at one time. Whoever gets there first with the payload will use it. I mean, he has some good moments, but it's like, once he's seen something like that, it's like, oh, just it's done. Fire this guy and get a new one. Find out what you have to pay Will Smith to do it, and let him wait till Suicide Squad's done, and then film the movie. But then, like, my main problem with the movie, the one thing I didn't like is just, like, I felt like everything was being rushed until the very end, and it started dragging out the last 30 minutes to make it fill up the runtime. And then, like, they kill the main alien queen, and they're talking to Apple Pokeball, and they're like, yay, we're gonna kick some major alien ass! Movie over. It started quick, slowed down for like 30 minutes, and ended too quick. And there wasn't even an end credit scene. I sat through all the credits looking for an end credit scene. There wasn't one. I was disappointed on that. So, once again, we rate the movies from 1 to 10. 7.5. We'll say 7.5 because it was a good movie. It's just it completely went against the first movie. Too much to fucking not notice, and it contradicted itself. So, would I watch a third one? Yes, just for the fact that I want to see the fucking storyline finished because I grew up with Independence Day. But that's probably really the only reason. So that's what I thought, guys. That's Independence Day Resurgence. Not a bad movie, not the best movie. So far, not the best one we reviewed. So if you guys liked Independence Day Resurgence, let me know in the comments. If you didn't like it, let me know in the comments. I want to know what you guys thought of the movie. I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. I know it's been out for a little while and we're behind on this review, but I've been busy. You guys know that. If you like this review, hit that like button. If there's a movie you guys want to see me do, though, tell me in the comments. We'll gladly do it. And of course, this is your first time here at the subscribe button, because it's not just me talking about fucking random movies. It's about me playing random games, mostly Minecraft. But I'm pretty fucking funny, as you guys could tell me. Ta-da! But this is Unfixing Alloy 1. I will see you guys next time.